Alright boys, the weekend's here, time to get on the beer. You're watching In the Shed with Johnny G. And this weekend we're going to work on wiring up the shed and putting some hydro in here.
Alright guys, first thing you want to do is find out what you have. So I got a bunch of stuff I'm after getting over the years. I'll show you how to wire up a panel box. I'll do some lights and some receptacles. Kind of know what I want for the shed anyway. I'll put the panel box over here. I'm putting a drop ceiling in, so I want to do dual lights with dual switches. I'll probably mount my TV here, so I'm going to need a receptacle there, and I'll have a few more for grinders and table saws and such. Alright boys, this is how you wire up a panel box in your shed. Now you might think it's overkill or whatever, but I can see me using lights, receptacle, split receptacle for the bench, maybe a baseboard heater or even a welder. Right, you got your outside GFI. Trust me, not overkill. And I'm going to show you how to wire it up. Now I'm using armored cable. You see it up there. Using armored cable rather than MMD 90 house wire. The reason why I'm using armored cable is that when you're out in the shed, you're going to have problems with mice and rodents screwing through your wires. So you want to make sure they can't get through your wires. So that's why I'm using armored cable. And I'll show you how to do that properly. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how to do a branch circuit first. That goes from one receptacle to another receptacle. After that, I'll show you how to do a split receptacle. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to do some, I want to hook up the lights. Alright boys, this is how you're going to wire up your branch circuit. And you get your ground coming in, which is actually, it's called a bonding conductor for the code. And you get your white, the identified conductor for the code, and then you got your hot. So after this point, we're going to call them ground and neutral and hot, just so you shop talk, so you understand it better. Now, if you married guys would understand, but you guys who are not married, if you want to have a headache, try reading the code book for 2 hours. So now we're going to hook up the ground first. So I got one going to the box, the two from the wires, and then I got a fourth one here that's going to actually hook up to the receptacle. When you use these wires, you want to use your linesman's pliers and turn them. You don't want to use a wire nut or a marret, whatever you prefer to call it, because it might come loose, so you want to use your linesman's pliers to give that a good tighten up. You put your wire nut on here. So that's done, so there's your ground. I will hook the ground first. I have my here. Alright, so we're going to bend it on the end. Now, I don't have the receptacle here. Well, I have a shitty one. I don't recommend you push the wire in for various reasons, and if you see anyone coming to your house and they're going to replace a receptacle and they push the wires in the back, you might as well tell them to go home, because that's garbage. And an electrician wouldn't do it in their home, so I wouldn't have someone come and do it and put it in your home. So you don't want to push the wires in, you want to put it around the screws. The screws are out anyway. When you put it in the box, you got to screw it in, so you might as well put it around the screws and do it right. Hook the wire here, put it around there. And then when you put it around the ground, you want to make sure that the way your bend is actually goes in with the screw. So you have it like that. You want to have it so you're tightening it up at all times. You're not making it go loose. Now the code says that you're supposed to have that 3/4 around the screw. Alright, so there's the ground done. This side is your neutral or your white. The side over here is your hot. You see white screws, darker screws, like brass. So I'm going to do the neutrals next. The way I like to do it is what comes from the power, you put it up top, and then what goes to your branch circuit, you put it on the bottom. Good common practice. Then we're going to screw there. Three-quarters around. Apart from the branch circuit right here, I'll put that on the bottom. So again, hook her up so when you tighten it, it goes on. I'll explain this later, but you'll see a little clip here. You want to make sure your clips are good. There so you can see better. Blocking the light. See that little clip? You want to make sure that that clip isn't broken on both sides. That sends power through. Alright, now the neutral's hooked up. Or your identified conductor, we'll just call it neutral. Now we're going to hook up the hot coming from your panel. Once again, we'll screw it. Three-quarters around. Now also, code says the wire that should be left out is 150 millimeters or 6 inches. So that way if something ever happens, you can trim it up later. Once again, you put it on the way you're tightening the screw. There you go. She's done. Now I'm going to carry on further down to the branch circuit and show you how you end your receptacle and how you also cut your AC90. Alright boys, this is the end of the branch circuit. I'm going to show you now how you cut your armor cable. Take a hacksaw and you cut your armor cable on a 45 degree. I want to know where she's at, some marker here. Take her, cut her on a 45. You want to be a little bit careful, you don't go nick the wire. Pull her out, remove this. You want to put your anti-short in here now. Well, that'll come with the armor cable. Or you can buy, if you buy a roll, it'll come with the armor cable. If not, you gotta buy it yourself. Put your anti-short in here. The reason why they put an anti-short here is so that the ground doesn't touch the armor cable. So you want to have it so you got a good connection going back to your panel in case it grounds. There we go. Actually, that one is for. Okay, here we go. That one was for 3-wire. This one's for 2-wire. Where else snug up. And when you put your connector on, this little red lip that comes down, the tongue, you want to make sure that that comes through one of these sides and does it. That's what the inspector is going to be looking for. So when you put her on, you see it coming through, inspector will give the okay. We're tightening her up. Put her through. There's none on there. As you can tell, when you're mounting her, you want to make sure that, once again, from the box is 6 inches or 150 millimeters. She's secure. So I'll put a screw on that. Let's put her on. Meter them up. Now, I already mounted a ground to the box. We got one coming here. I'm going to screw them together again, and then have another one going to your receptacle. Once again, you put your wires together. Use your linesman's pliers. Give her a good couple of turns. Trim her off on the end. Put a wire nut on her. Marret, whatever you prefer to call it. Good to go. I'm going to use a receptacle. Once again, screws only. I don't like to push in part. Garbage. I know manufacturers right there are going to cry a little bit, but they're fire hazard for me. Trouble hazard. Alright, let's hook up the ground first. Once again, when you hook up the ground, we're going to hook it up so that you screw it in so that it doesn't come loose. And 3/4 around the screw. That's done. Now we'll do our neutral next. Turn her off. A little bit more there. Put our bend in there. White side again, neutral. I'm going to put it on so that when you tighten it, it actually goes tighter. And we'll do her hot. We'll put it on so that way it goes tighter when you put it on. Here you have her bushes all done. And next we're gonna go, before I show you how to wire it up to the breaker, I'm gonna go do the next branch or split receptacle before we hook up to the main breaker panel. Okay guys, I got the split receptacle all wired up. Try to save on time here for you guys. Once again, the ground is on. Your lines and pliers. Before you put your marrow, give her a couple good turns. You got your neutral over here. The clip is not broken on your neutral. Later on, we'll tighten that down before we put it in the box. Now on this side, the clip is broken for a split receptacle. So you have power coming in on top and on bottom. If you don't break that clip, and you wire it up in your panel box, you're gonna keep tripping your breakers. So you make sure that clip is broke for a split receptacle. All right, guys, I'm gonna show you how to wire it up. But what I'm actually gonna do is, to save time for you, I'm gonna wire it up, and then point out what I actually done. All right, so guys, let me get my screwdriver here to point it out so you can see it real good. This was your split receptacle. So I got one coming into this breaker, the next one coming into this breaker. Here's the neutral hooked up to the screw, and here is your ground hooked up to the ground. Now guys, what an inspector likes to see is you get your wire in all the way and a little bit of copper hanging out, no plastic. Some people actually cut it too short. When they put it in, the plastic is actually touching off the screw. So I got the same thing done to the red. And if you look at your neutral, same thing's done as well. All right, and over here for the other circuit we did, same thing again. You got a little bit of copper showing, so you know it's in all the way, and you're not on the plastic. Same with the neutral, and the ground is hooked up. All right, now it's time to do some lights. All right, guys, I got the lights wired up. I'll show you how it works. This is power coming in from the panel box. You notice how I got this white, all the neutrals together. And on the black, I have a white wire hooked up. We follow this conductor. Brings us all the way down to the light switch. Here's the power coming in for the light on the white, going back on black. And then the ground's hooked up again when you utilize those pliers. Now I know there's a new code coming out, either in this code book or the next code book, where you have to use a neutral wire in your lights, so you can hook up the smart devices. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm not going to hook up to a smart device. If I did, the wife would probably be turning the lights on and off on me, so we'll just leave it at that. Then when it comes back, now here's the black, hook up to the rest of the black for the lights. Got one light over there. But before that light goes on, because I'm going to put a drop ceiling in and store some stuff up in the attic of the shed. It goes. All right, guys, here's the main power coming into the panel box. I got my black hooked up. The red, which is also a hot wire, is hooked up, coming down to your hot bus bars. I got the blue, which is your neutral, hooked up to the neutral bus bar. It also joins in the bottom to your other bus bar for neutral. And I have the ground, the binding conductor, wired up to the ground. Now I have tech. Tech is the same thing as armor cable. You have to cut it on a 45 degree. And there's my tech connector. Now, if some panel boxes might have a green screw on the neutral bus bar, for a sub panel, you take that screw out. Do not hook up your ground to the neutral on a sub panel. All right, there you have it. All right, boys. Panel's all done. I'll show you all the wires are secure. Well, except for the one that's dropping down for the light for the drop ceiling. Okay, guys, just like my case of beer, the weekend's come and gone. Tune in next weekend, and depending if it's cold or not, we'll either worry about the heat or we'll worry about putting a drop ceiling in. I hope you learned some things. Don't forget to like and subscribe.